Do you ever find yourself lying in bed at night or stuck in a traffic jam, replaying the same thought over and over again? You keep going over that one mistake you made, that one difficult conversation, that one thing you wish you had said or done differently. This isn't just normal everyday stress. It's a specific kind of rumination where your mind gets stuck in an endless loop of the same thoughts. This is more than just having something on your mind. In this video, we want to help you understand this common experience. So we're going to answer some important questions. What is overthinking exactly? Why does your brain do this? How is overthinking linked to anxiety and perfectionism? And most importantly, how can you break free from these overthinking cycles? Keep watching to find out. 1. Overthinking defined. Before we can tackle the why of overthinking, we need to understand the what. What actually is overthinking? Simply put, overthinking is when your brain gets stuck in repetitive thought loops, often about past events or future worries. While thinking things over is a natural and often helpful part of life, overthinking takes this to an extreme. Overthinking is like chewing a piece of gum until it's completely tasteless. The flavor has worn off because you've overdone it. Likewise, overthinking a situation removes all the freshness and clarity. Instead of helping you find solutions or learn from experiences, overthinking keeps you stuck in a loop where you endlessly question, doubt, and analyze every little detail. It's your mind's way of reliving past moments, imagining worst-case scenarios about the future, or fixating on minor issues that most people would simply brush off. But why does our brain do this? 2. The brain science of overthinking. To understand why overthinking happens, we need to look at the brain areas involved. The prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, keeps replaying potential outcomes or alternate versions of past events. It keeps asking, what if? What if? What if, without arriving at any new insights? Meanwhile, the amygdala, the brain region that processes emotions, sends out constant danger signals. Your brain's alarm system goes off each time it detects a threat, triggering the fight, flight, or freeze response. As you wrestle with these intense emotions, the prefrontal cortex convinces itself that overthinking is a form of preparation. This is because the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala communicate with each other via dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. Basically, your brain's reward circuit tells itself that by overthinking, you're actually getting ready for different outcomes or avoiding a future crash. This creates a vicious cycle. Your brain gets stuck in an endless loop of overthinking and heightened emotions, all fueled by the promise of dopamine release. So overthinking becomes a habit, a maladaptive coping mechanism that doesn't actually solve problems but keeps you trapped in an anxious loop. 3. The link to anxiety. Now let's talk about the relationship between overthinking and anxiety. If anxiety is the excessive worry about future threats, then overthinking is the constant stream of thoughts that feed and intensify that worry. When you overthink, you create endless what-if scenarios in your head. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I make a mistake? What if people think I'm not enough? These thoughts, while not based on reality, feel very real in the moment, and your body reacts accordingly. Your heart races, your breathing becomes shallow, and your muscles tense up. This reaction is the same whether you're facing a real physical threat or a perceived mental one. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It perceives the imagined threat of social rejection or failure as equally dangerous as a physical one. This is why people with anxiety often feel overwhelmed by everyday situations that don't bother others. They're experiencing the physical manifestation of overthinking thoughts that seem very real to them. Overthinking and anxiety reinforce each other in a loop. Anxiety makes you overthink, and overthinking increases your anxiety. It's like a never-ending cycle. 4. The link to perfectionism. Overthinking is also closely tied to perfectionism. People who strive for perfection often have a deep fear of making mistakes. This fear drives them to overanalyze and overthink every decision, every action, every interaction. They ruminate about potential missteps, imagining all the ways things could go wrong. This constant overthinking leads to analysis paralysis, where the fear of not getting it right prevents you from even trying, or from finishing what you start. A perfectionist might spend so much time planning a project that they never actually start it, or they might spend so much time revising a piece of work that they submit it late or not at all. Basically, the desire for flawlessness becomes a major source of distress. The fear of making mistakes triggers overthinking, which then fuels more anxiety and more fear. The spiral continues. And since perfectionists are often very sensitive to other people's judgments, Even the imagined disapproval of others can magnify these overthinking spirals. They imagine what others might say or think, and this imagined criticism sends them into a tailspin of what ifs. Am I good enough? Did I do enough? Will people be disappointed? These questions drive the perfectionist's overthinking and often lead to major stress and burnout. Number 5. The consequences of overthinking. And now that we've explored the roots of overthinking, let's examine the consequences of this behavior. When you overthink, your mind and body pay the price. Overthinking is linked to higher levels of stress and insomnia. It's hard to relax and fall asleep when your brain is racing through countless scenarios. This lack of sleep further impacts your mental health, making it even harder to control your thoughts. Overthinking drains your mental energy and focus. When you're stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, it's challenging to concentrate on tasks or enjoy your surroundings. You might find yourself forgetting appointments, losing track of conversations, or just zoning out mentally. This lack of focus can affect work, relationships, and school. Overthinking reinforces the anxiety cycle. Remember how we talked about the link between overthinking and anxiety? Well, the two feed each other in a vicious cycle. Overthinking creates anxiety, and anxiety fuels more overthinking. It's a never-ending loop that can feel very difficult to escape. 6. Breaking the cycle. Overthinking is a common experience, but it doesn't have to control your life. Here are 6 steps to help you break the cycle. Step 1. Label the thought loop. When you notice your mind spiraling, say to yourself, I'm spiraling, or I'm overthinking. This simple act of labeling can create a pause in the loop, giving you a moment to step back and observe your thoughts. Step 2. Set a time limit. Allocate a specific time window, such as 15 or 30 minutes, to reflect on your thoughts. After that, redirect your attention to the present moment. You can say to yourself, I'll think about this some more after my walk, or I'll revisit this in an hour after I finish this task. Step 3. Shift your focus. Engage in activities like journaling, exercise, or a grounding technique to shift your focus away from the overthinking loop. Physical activity can be especially helpful in breaking the cycle, as it releases endorphins that improve your mood and reduce stress. Step 4. Challenge perfectionism. Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Most often, the worst-case scenarios that you imagine in your head are unlikely to occur. By challenging these thoughts, you can start to see them in a more realistic light and break free from the cycle of overthinking. Step 5. Practice mindfulness. Engage in mindfulness exercises to bring your attention to the present moment. You can try a body scan meditation or focus on your breath. These practices can help you stay grounded in the here and now rather than getting lost in thought loops. Step 6. Use CBT strategies. Apply cognitive behavioral therapy strategies such as thought stopping, where you consciously choose to stop negative thoughts from taking over. You can also use affirmations to counter negative self-talk, or keep a thought log to track and challenge your overthinking patterns. 7. Final thoughts. Overthinking is a habit your brain has formed, not an unchangeable aspect of your personality. Understanding its roots, especially its links to anxiety and perfectionism, is the first step to breaking free. You don't have to let overthinking define you or control your life. With practice, you can develop new thought patterns and behaviors that help you stay grounded in the present. Manage your anxiety and resist the urge to overthink every little detail. Remember, knowledge is the first step to rewriting your story. And if you found this video helpful, don't hesitate to share for more insightful mental health videos and guides. Thank you for watching and take care.